Okay, so this next video lecture is still the continuation of our Module 5, Taxation for Individuals Who Earns Mixed Income, Estates, and Trusts. For the documentary requirements, so we have here the list. Okay, first is Certificate of Income Tax Withheld on Compensation, so that is our BIR Form 2316. So this will be attached if that is applicable. Second is the Certificate of Income Payments Not Subject to Withholding Tax. This is our BIR Form 2304. So this will be attached if, again, that is applicable. Certificate of Creditable Tax Withheld at Source. So we will use BIR Form 2307. So again, this will be attached if this is applicable to the taxpayer, as well as the duly approved tax debit memo and proof of foreign tax credit. Okay, number 6, income tax return previously filed and proof of payment if the taxpayer is filing an amended return for the same year. Number 7, we need to attach the account information form or certificate of independent CPA with audited FS if the gross annual sales, earnings, receipts, or output of the taxpayer exceeds or is more than 3 million pesos. Number 8, account information form or financial statements which is not necessarily audited by an independent CPA if the gross annual sales, earnings, receipts, or output of the taxpayer do not exceed or is less than 3 million and is subject to graduated income tax rates. And number 9 is proof of prior year's excess tax credits if that is applicable, because this will be used as a deduction for the current year's taxable tax due. So here we will discuss the different attachments. For the Certificate of Income Payment Not Subject to Withholding Tax, or this includes this excludes the compensation income. So the form that we will use is BIR Form 2304. So this certificate is to be accomplished and issued by a payer to the recipient of the income, not subject to withholding tax. So this certificate should be attached to BIR Form 1701 for individuals, and for non-individuals, they will use BIR Form 1702. So this certificate must be given by the payer to the payee on or before January 31st of the year following the year in which the income payment was made. So for example, the taxable year is 2021. So this certificate should be given on the 21st of 2022. Okay, so this is what our BIR Form 2304 looks like. Okay, so we have here, you have to fill in here the year. Part 1 is for the payee information. Part 2 is payer information. Okay, Part 3 is the details of the income paid to the taxpayer. Okay. For BIR Form 2307 or Certificate of Creditable Tax Withheld at Source. So this certificate is to be accomplished and issued to recipient of income which is subject to expanded withholding tax or EWT. Okay, that is paid by the payer or a withholding agent, including the government money payments made by the government office, showing therein the monthly breakdown of the total income payments made and the total taxes withheld and remitted during the quarter or the period. For expanded withholding tax, this certificate in turn should be attached to their quarterly or annual ITR. Okay, so it may be in the BIR Form 1701Q or 1701 for individuals. Okay, and for non-individuals, this is 1702. In which case, the amount of withholding tax shall be allowed as tax credit against the income tax liability of the income recipient of the recipient in the taxable quarter or year in which this income was earned. So this is important because the taxpayer will deduct this amount because this was already paid by the withholding agent or the payer. For percentage taxes on government money payments, so this certificate is to be attached in the quarterly percentage tax returns of the taxpayer. For VAT withholding, this certificate is to be attached to the monthly VAT declaration and quarterly VAT return of the taxpayer. For filing date, for expanded withholding tax, this is to be issued to the payee on or before the 20th of the month following the close of the taxable quarter. So upon request of the payee, however, the payer must furnish such statement to the payee simultaneously with the income payment. For percentage tax on government money payments, so this is to be issued to the payee on or before the 10th day of the month following the month which this withholding was made. So then on the next month, in the 10th day. Upon the request of the payee, however, the payer must furnish such statement to the payee simultaneously with the income payment, because they will use this later on. And for VAT withholding, this is to be issued to the payee on or before the 10th day also of the month following the month in which this withholding was made. Upon the request of the payee, however, the payer must furnish such statement to the payee simultaneously with the income payment. Okay, so this is what our form BIR Form 1307 looks like. Certificate of Creditable Tax Withheld at Source. So it has the taxpayer should fill in the details for the period, their information. That is part 1. Part 2 is payer information. Part 3 is the details of monthly income payment and the taxes withheld from the income. Okay. And then the total and their signatures to be affixed therein. Okay, the next document to be attached in our BIR Form 1701 is the account information form for self-employed individuals, estates, and trusts. So this may include those with mixed income, meaning compensation income plus income from trading in business or practicing of their profession. So BIR Form 1701 account information form, this is also known, that is the title. Okay, so note also, pursuant to Section 71 of our RA 10963, otherwise known as the Tax Reform Acceleration and Inclusion Act, amending the tax code in relation to our Revenue Memorandum Circular Number 7, corporations, companies, or persons whose gross annual sales, earnings, receipts, or output which exceeds or is more than 3 million may not accomplish this form. Okay, so in view thereof, they may file their annual income tax returns accompanied by their financial statements, okay, and relevant statements which is duly audited or certified by an independent CPA. Okay, so in exchange of this form, for those corporations, company, or persons whose gross sales or earnings, receipts, or output is more than 3 million, so they may attach their audited FS, okay, by independent CPA. So what are the procedures? So here, they will accomplish their BIR Form 1701 account information form in 3 copies and attach this to our BIR Form 1701. So the date of filing, this is the same deadline as BIR Form 1701 on or before the 15th day of April of each year covering taxable income for the calendar year 2018 if our taxable year is 2017 in this case. Okay, so this is what our account information form looks like. Okay, so we have here the details for the background information of the taxpayer. Part 2 is the income statement. Okay, balance sheet, part 3. Okay, we have here the schedule for the breakdown of the cost of sales or services. Okay, so you can, or the taxpayer can have the assistance of their independent CPA to fill in this or look for someone, okay, who is accredited by BIR to fill in this form, okay, to assist the taxpayer. Okay, so we also have here the continuation, okay, of the breakdown. Schedule 2 is for the schedule of taxes and licenses paid. Schedule 3 is for schedule of income producing properties. Okay, so those are for our account information form, okay, which will be accomplished and attached by the taxpayer if this is applicable. Okay, so we will proceed with the procedures on how to file BITRs. Actually, this is just the same as what we have discussed under the annual income tax, okay, for individuals. So here, the taxpayer can pay or file using the EFPS, okay, or if the taxpayer is an EFPS filer. So here, they will fill up the applicable fields in the BIR Form 1701 in the BIR platform or portal. Then they will pay this electronically by clicking the Proceed to Payment button and fill up the required fields in the EFPS payment form. Then they will click Submit. And then they will receive the payment confirmation from EFS or EFPS or AABS for successful e-filing and e-payment, meaning they can pay this using their debit or credit cards online. Okay, number 2, if the taxpayer is non-EFPS filer, so here they will fill up the fields on the portal, the BIR Form 1701, and then download it in the downloaded electronic bureau of this or the taxpayer in this case, if they are non-EFPS filer, so they will fill up the fields in our BIR Form 1701, which is downloadable in our BIR form field in their website, okay? Or it also has there the eBIR form package. And then they will print this duly accomplished BIR Form 1701, and then they will proceed to the nearest authorized agent bank, okay, or district or revenue district officer where they are registered and present this accomplished BIR Form 1701 together with the required attachment and their payment. Letter D, in places where there are no authorized agent banks, the taxpayer can proceed to the revenue collection officer or the duly authorized city or municipal treasurer located in the revenue district office where they are registered. Okay, so they will present their BIR Form 1701 together with the required attachments and their payment. And letter E, they will receive the copy of the duly stamped and validated form from the teller of the authorized agent banks or revenue collection officer or duly authorized city or municipal treasurer. For manual filer, so here, the taxpayer will fill up the BIR Form 1701 in 3 copies. They will proceed to the revenue district office where they are registered, okay? And then they will present this duly accomplished BIR Form 1701 together with the required attachment and then the payment as well. And they will receive the copy of the duly stamped and validated form from the RDO or Tax Filing Center representative representing that they have already complied with the filing of their ITR for the taxable year. So for the deadline, of course, so here, the final adjustment return or annual income tax return is every April 15th of each year, covering income for calendar year 2018 and thereafter, or this is every April 15th of the next taxable year. So again, for example, if the taxable year that the taxpayer will pay is on 2021, so the deadline of their filing is on April 15, 2022. Okay, so this is for our income taxation or annual income tax return filing for our individuals who are earning mixed income, the estates and trusts.